Hey guys, I just want to do a quick video over the PID values and rate values I've set up on my KISS flight controller. Um, I know a few people have asked me for these values, so I thought I'd just do a quick video over the values. Um, Again, this is not an extensive tutorial on how to tune or the tuning process. This is strictly just how I have my quad set up and the rates I'm using, the PID values I'm using, as well as a few things that I know or that I found that to keep in mind, I guess, when you're setting these values up, such as the feel of the quad. Um, one resource, there's a few resources actually that I've read uh, here recently or within the last few months that were really helpful in order to tune my quad. I'll place the links to those sites in the description if you guys are interested in a more technical aspect or more of the technical pieces to tuning. Again, this is just my personal preference on tuning and kind of my personal PID values, rate values, and how I have those set up. Okay, generally speaking, what I want is a very snappy quad. You know, that snaps back and forth, it snaps on a pitch, it snaps on a rolls. The yaw's fine back and forth. So to get that feel of the quad, in terms of just PID values, you want your P term and your I term relatively high, in the ballpark of those values I've set right there, and then your D term, you want that as low as possible, so the counter effect of the pitch or the roll is minimized. Also, you want to pay attention to TPA. At face value, these PID values might be high, but you also have to factor in the TPA values that kind of minimize those values to after it reaches a certain point. So those are the PID values I've set right there that provides me that feel. Next, just talk about RC rate, and RC curve. Speaking about these values, I generally have the roll and the pitch the same because it's all in the same stick, and I don't want any abnormalities in terms of the feel. Yaw is going to be a little different because I do like a yaw movement in some cases when I'm doing a move, and I try to keep the RC curve on that higher than normal because it's on the throttle stick, and I'm not using yaw that much in comparison to the other movements I'm doing or other tricks I'm doing. So the way that I have the stick, this is basically to me what RC rate and RC curve do is the stick feel, the stick sensitivity. That's how I think of RC rate, and RC curve. Generally speaking, when you have a high RC rate, the stick becomes really sensitive. So a slight movement of the stick is going to have an abrupt movement. And the rate, to me, is an endpoint sensitivity. If you push the stick way to the left, and that's the rate that's going to react at the endpoint. And then the RC curve is really the amount of curve that you have in the middle of the stick, or the amount of softness you have in the middle of the stick. So for instance, if you have a high RC rate, you want to have some RC curve built into it, because you won't, without RC curve, a slight movement of the stick could have an abrupt movement of the quad. So in order to compensate for that movement or for that high RC rate, you want to have some level of RC curve that kind of helps you navigate and helps you fly in a straight line, in a straight path, without having abrupt movements caused by just slight movements of the stick. So generally speaking, this is kind of how I have the PIDs and rates set up. The one thing I will say is that these values or these components work in conjunction with one another. If you change one aspect, such as their PID values, the RC rates may be affected, and vice versa. You could get away with having unoptimal PIDs, or having PIDs in the ballpark and having great rates, and it flies pretty good. So all that being said, this is kind of just how I like my quad to react. And I know a few people have asked me for these values, so these are kind of the values I've set. I hope it's helpful. If you have any questions, just let me know in the comments below. Thank you.
Just because it feels the same till the morning comes, he will